Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Good morning, vlogsters. It's early. I need coffee. I'm gonna take a sip and I'll tell you this can probably be the shortest vlog all week. Don't I always say that and then it's like a long vlog? I sometimes say that and it's sometimes a long vlog. This morning I woke up kind of early. I'm gonna fix this. I hope I remember that I was fixing it. This morning I woke up kind of early. Oh boy, it just doesn't want to pivot. Well, I guess it'll be what it'll be. This morning I woke up kind of early, about 3:30, and I was able to take my medicine at 4:12 because you have like an hour window in each direction. The other reason is because it's about to be daylight savings time, so this week is kind of like practice week, So because I took my medicine early, I was able to have coffee early. So now I was able to have coffee in a mug because I didn't have to wait 2 hours to drink it. And it's still hot. Hi. So yesterday I had Jimmy push me around quite a bit. We had quite a few trick-or-treaters, which I was kind of pleasantly surprised about. Jim's like, oh, we had a lot last year. I was like, no, last year was the pandemic. We had a handful of people. And it was actually like, I think it was just 3 groups of kids, but they were bigger groups than they normally are. So we did have like maybe a dozen or so trick-or-treaters, but this year we had like a lot, and I was very, very happy. It was a Sunday, and the weather was icky in the morning and became a little bit better, more tolerable in the evening. We just sat down to dinner, and it was really funny yesterday because so yesterday we spent Jimmy was the whole day planning, like, I want to make schnitzel. So if you don't know, schnitzel is like a fried pork patty that's got breadcrumbs on it. We get schnitzel frozen, already formed. Pork is the kind we got because it comes in chicken too. But we got pork schnitzel. We get it from Aldi. They come out like Oktoberfest once a year. Sometimes they come out in the spring for the Volksmarch thing, but usually it's just Oktoberfest. They come out like, I know, kind of crazy, but like August for Oktoberfest. So Mom really likes them. We usually stock up. The traditional way we always made them in our house is to make them like Hawaiian schnitzel, which is you fry up the pork patty, you add a piece of ham, usually Black Forest ham, a ring of pineapple, and a piece of Swiss or Havarti cheese, depending on what we have and what you like. And then you bake that in the oven until it's warm and toasty and golden and delicious. So Jimmy said, I have mushrooms that I want to cook. So what I thought I would do is make you and me Jaeger schnitzel, basically a mushroom gravy, and just make Mom's Hawaiian. So I was like, oh, it sounds like a good idea. Now, normally, when we get rings of pineapple, there comes 4 rings to a can of a small can. And we typically freeze the 4th one. And then like every 3rd can, we have enough to do another group of schnitzel. So Jim's like, we don't have any pineapple. I was like, you looked in the freezer? And he's like, yeah. I said, are you sure? Because I thought it was there. And he's like, no, it wasn't there. And I was like, okay. Maybe we got rid of it last time because it was frosted. I'm not really sure. So he's like, I'm going to go out and get it. I said, well, talk to your mom first because maybe she'll like the mushrooms on the side, or try it with that. And he went and talked to her, and she's like, well, she just said leave off the pineapple and just make ham and cheese. I said, oh, okay. So it was about 3:30. He's like, it's a little early to cook because schnitzel doesn't take very long. So he said, I'm going to go inside and work in my office. I was like, okay. I said, well, I had just come in the room because I started to really not feel good, and I got super tired. I had drank my electrolytes just in case. That was it, and it didn't help. So I guess just chemotherapy cancer in my body just was like, you needed to rest. So I laid down, and I had fallen asleep. And then he comes in, and I smell onions. And like I said, he was going to make the mushroom gravy. And he was asking, how do I make mushroom gravy? And I told him. And, I said, try this. And he's like, okay. He's going to try it. So I smell the onions, and I'm like, oh, it smells good. Yeah. Starting to get more and more excited. He comes in, he pops his head in the door, and he goes, I lost track of time. I was like, oh, I'm thinking maybe he burnt the onions. He's like, so we're going to have hot dogs and beans. Which I have to tell you something. It's really kind of an after the story. He made hot dog onions, or he tried to make hot dog onions. He didn't know the actual recipe. He thought he knew what the recipe was. That my dad's hot dog onions. And he did a really good job, all things considered. What we do for hot dog onions is we saute the onions in butter until they're translucent, just translucent. And then you add more butter, ketchup, and Worcestershire sauce to taste. You can do also, some people also put in paprika. Some people put in mustard, but we don't traditionally. We just do that combination, and it's a balance. My father has a steak sauce that he used to make, which was ketchup and mayonnaise, butter and ketchup and Worcestershire sauce. But this was like it's a different ratio. Like one has more Worcestershire, one has more butter, like that. So he did a really good job. And it was mostly just onions and ketchup that he had sauteed in butter. So I said, it needs more butter. So I added more butter, and I said, is there Worcestershire? And he looked in the refrigerator, and there wasn't any. I said, I feel like I just bought it though. And we looked in the closet, and there was a big bottle, and I added Worcestershire right there to the onions. And they came out, like, together we cooked them, and they were perfect. And he made beans, and yesterday was carb day, and normally I reserve the carbs for non-gluten carbs. And beans are gluten. These beans were gluten-free, so I was dogging the beans. There was a lot of sugar in beans. There's a lot of carbs in beans. I'm not telling you to have it if you're, monitor your blood sugar and all that stuff, but this was like such an amazing meal, and I was like, this is the best disappointing meal ever. And my mother-in-law looked at me a little crooked, and Jim was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, I was really looking forward to some Jaeger schnitzel, but this turned out really good. It was really delicious. And I was like, it was homey, and it hit the spot, and it was just like quick and easy, and oh, so good. He had microwaved some frozen hot dog buns so they can have buns. And Mom's like, they're really good today. I think because the bread's fresh. And Jim's like, I microwaved that frozen bread. And she's like, yeah, but I think like because it's warm and steamy. He did a really nice job. I'm so impressed. Just the effort he put into it. But it was really funny because I was like, oh, Jaeger schnitzel. Jimmy's going to do like, oh, I can't wait to see this mushroom gravy. And then it was like, we're going to have hot dogs. That whole like, wah, wah, wah. That's the song that played in my head. Wah, wah, wah. But honestly, it turned out so much better than I can imagine, or that I even anticipated. I was so happy. I went back, and I don't use bread, so I had 3 hot dogs with the onions and a large serving of beans. And then, I don't know what you would consider a large. I considered it a large serving of beans. It was probably 2 tablespoons because I'm not really, don't eat the carbs. But then after he ate the last hot dog, I was like, took more beans, and he took whatever onions he wanted, and I took the rest of the onions, and I added it to the beans, and I just ate it out of the bowl. This was really good. The one thing was all the acid from the ketchup and the mustard when it first hit my mouth was like, but I got Miracle mouthwash, so yay. This morning for breakfast, I'm having an apple and peanut butter. I will probably be eating here in a little while. I am not going to do intermittent fasting really anymore. I have to do more of an intuitive eating. I have to also eat when my body wants to. So my body doesn't always want to eat. There's times my body has to eat. But then I don't want to starve my body if it's ready to eat at 2 o'clock in the morning. If that makes any sense. Hopefully it does. That's what pretty much happened last night. Last night I was laying here, and it's not his fault. Jim was trying to help me. I was falling asleep playing a game on the iPad, and I had the footstool, which is padded, underneath where I would drop the iPad, honestly. And next to that was the garbage can, so it was either going to fall into that or the garbage can. So he woke me up to tell me to put down the iPad because I was falling asleep. Excuse me. And what that did was woke me up from a nap. I know it was just like a 20-second power nap, but it woke me up from a nap. Which then in turn kept me up for hours. Again, I don't blame him or anything. He was doing everything that I think that he thought was necessary. So, then, now that I'm realizing it, I probably only slept 2 hours. If that. Wow. Is that why my hiney's kind of dragging? Well, it's not even that my hiney's dragging. It's like my eyes aren't focused. Like, sometimes tired is in your core, but sometimes tired is in your head. And then I don't mean in your head like psychological, but sometimes your brain is tired. Sometimes your body is tired. Sometimes you're all tired, like your soul is tired. So I feel like my eyes are tired. Maybe. But I was just going to have my breakfast and have my coffee and see if the TV works today. Because the internet has been spotty, because the weather's been spotty. And it sometimes doesn't let me stream anything in my bedroom. Which stinks because I'm supposed to be spending most of the time in my bedroom. While mom has her door open and stuff, because I can't really air out the house. So I did say this was going to be a short vlog because really not much else happened yesterday. Jim finished laundry. It was Halloween. I didn't get to see the kids, but I would sit at the kitchen table, which is really far from the door, and I'd hear trick or treat, and he'd say Happy Halloween, and then when the kids were getting ready to leave, I'd be like, Happy Halloween, and then Mom's like, that's like the disembodied voice, you just hear it. Well, one group of kids, I was like, Happy Halloween, and this little boy's voice bounced back and said, Happy Halloween, whoever that is. I was like, thanks. And my sister was encouraging me to sit on the porch, but my porch doesn't give 3 feet of room between the trick-or-treaters and where the chair is that I would have to sit on. So I really couldn't social distance from the trick-or-treaters. I said to my husband, I was like, listen, if I can't go to the Dollar Tree, I'm not sitting around the trick-or-treaters. But I just know emotionally it would have been nice to see the kids, because kids always make me feel better, make me feel alive. Got to see all the kids in Texas on Instagram and their cute little costumes. I got to see my friends' kids, my friend in Minnesota, her kids all dressed up for Halloween. It looks super cute. Just waiting, just hanging out, watching the kids on, all the kids of family, grandkids of friends, and everybody's dressed up for Halloween, and it's just nice to see, Reminds me of times of when we were young, and even when we were older and we go to costume parties and stuff, Our award-winning costumes that we would have time and time again. Okay, so that's it for now. I believe I have 1,000,000,000 phone calls today, so I really need to probably like shut my brain off for a little while. Just let it rest. I think I'm gonna let my brain rest. And then I'm going to um, make all the phone calls and fill out all the paperwork and do everything that I need to. Yeah. But listen, I love you guys. If nobody's told you today, remember that I love you. Okay? You are loved. And as always, you take care. God bless. And we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.